This is a series of sonnets. How many are there? There are 129 sonnets. But this is the one I want to read to you. It goes like this. Like lots of us, the box jellyfish feeds lazily on small fish and crustaceans, but his tentacles trail 9 or 10 feet long. Swimmers, you'll be sorry if you touch one. Also notable are its 24 eyes. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a brain. But with such vision, what need is there to think? Or would you prefer a giant brain and no eyes? 16 eyes are merely pigment pits, but 8 blaze 8 times brighter than the human eye. For its feathers, one might wish to be a peacock, but there's something about being a box jellyfish. I think I'd like to have that blazing vision, but when would I have any time to think?
Thank you for that. So this is a much earlier book, and I'll just throw it at you and see what you think. It's the third part, but I could have.
Yeah, this goes way back. What we got here?
I should read from here.
1977. I was sitting in the garden, admiring the apple blossoms. A high wind came up, and one by one, the blossoms broke from their boughs and blew away, until each bough was bare of beauty. The blossoms, little eyes full of tears, bidding me adieu. And by habit, lines composed themselves in my head, striving to express the moment's essence. And for the past month of bursting spring, my lines have become full of my mind, that cramped tomb of dying light. As if someone had whispered to me, in a dream I'd forgotten, there's much in there that shouldn't remain unexamined. After so many effortless years of writing, thousands of lines, whose worth it would be well to doubt, in a line of silence letting the lines slowly sprout from the tongue like leaves. And perhaps at that point I entered the irreversible second half of my life, where what was ignored in the first becomes dominant, what was crucial in the first dies like an insignificant dream. My tome, my time is running out. Let me clear out this smelly tomb and discover what's behind it. And the lines ignored those other blossoms that blossomed in my mind and blew away. Blossoms posing complex questions such as, how many springs will I enjoy before I die? Questions that can't be ignored in verse, that strives to capture the moment's essence. Questions embarrassing as adolescent poems, but no more embarrassing than the blossoms, so ridiculously beautiful, and as essential as the moment's essence. But the vanishing blossoms were closer than my thoughts, and far more innocent, and remain so even though they're gone, and will be so again long after I'm gone. My existence dependent on my admiration of you, and I admired you as you unfolded your small white petals with the same gentle force that opens my small white eyelids and lets the lines sprout from my lips, and I admired you as you were blown away by the same wind that wears me out. The lips part and another line pops out. The incompleteness of my existence, failing as I have to admire the tree that gave you your brief lives in exchange for your brief lives, and the small clouds that make brief shadows on my silken face as one by one you vanished. The trees all around me shuddering in the wind like giant voluptuous bass violins, and the air all around me full of vanishing blossoms, and I didn't shudder in the wind, didn't vanish, disappear. For when you are with me, you speak an unknown language closer to me than my mother's tongue, and I love to hear you babble with pleasure like a river flowing back through time, and as you do when I give myself to your embrace, and I can't help believing you when you say you'll always return. I don't care how foolish I appear, for there is nothing I can hide from you. Can I ever become the man, the poet you'll never leave? You've been everywhere, seen everything, and your embrace is like an infant starving for my essential juices. And you give me the power to see into all mysteries but your own. And we are forever parting before our embrace exhausts us. You disappear on your cloud of sperm, leaving me as weak as a man can be. And in an hour I'm strong, and have forgotten you and the beauty of the Eden you've illuminated. And in the moment of greatest light, you return full of darkness and love, and everything you give me I squander, and I can't help trusting you when you say you'll always return.
Thank you.
The Poet's Progress by David McFadden. That's from, what's his name? Phones. Bob Phones.
Bob Phones did the drawing?
Bob Phones did that.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Phones?
Yeah, who's Bob Phones?
Robert Phones.
He's in Vancouver. Not Vancouver.
Toronto
Toronto.
artist.
Yeah, Toronto artist, yeah. Yeah.
Were you friends with him?
Yes, I don't see very much of him nowadays, but he was originally from London, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
The Poet's Progress by David McFadden. You like those, these little, these little guys, what do you call them?
Cartoons?
Yeah.
No, those little candies.
Oh yeah, the licorice
licorice
candy.
balls?
All sorts, yeah.
Yeah, licorice all sorts.
He was crazy about them. He was a good artist. I don't know if he still is, but I suspect he is.
Yeah, he's still a good artist.
Were you friends with a lot of painters and artists?
In those
I mean,
days, yeah. Not so much now.
Yeah. It was a much more integrated. You think it was much more integrated into the writing scene, sort of the mixture of different kinds of arts.
Yeah, we used to be, the poets were hanging around together all the time, but it's not like that as much these days, as far as I can see anyway. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. Yeah.
It's a much bigger world now.
Yeah, it's a bigger
It
world.
was a small world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Merlin, are there other things you wanted to add to the discussion today?
No, he's not talking.
Well, it's, I wonder about this because the first time I heard David read was actually a few years ago. And Sam Selecki had invited him to come and read to his quite large class at U of T. And they were studying Why Are You So Sad? A point which David completely missed, and the emails coming back and forth from Sam. And there was lots of screw-ups on Sam's part as well. So he walked in with this book and started reading from it.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
But one of the kids asked for a particular poem from Why Are You So Sad? And Dave said, does anybody have a copy of that? And he read it. But what I noticed, I was sitting in back of the room and I thought, I didn't like him for being a poet. I didn't dislike him for being a poet, you know what I mean? It just, I liked him.
Yeah.
And
Oh, right.
and David was standing in front of the room and I thought, oh my God, this is a rock star. This great big room full of kids, absolutely
Enamored.
Gripped.
Yeah.
I was gripped. And he was so confident, and you're harking back to this era when they were rock stars, and there he was, it's, oh my God, this is a real rock star, it's like, it was a very, very interesting, very amazing experience. So, and now that you're asking these questions, that persona, I think, perhaps harks back to this era. And I remember from the visual art side, and the question about the women, I was sitting there going, because I remember the women in CAR, which was the artists' organization, You know, has anybody noticed here that women aren't having much voice and
Right.
stuff like that? Susan Crean was quite active in that time. So yeah, it was very interesting because they were guys together. But I suppose it was at a time when it was unself-conscious enough that it wouldn't make them, it wouldn't mean that they were consciously being male chauvinists or anything like that. It was somehow just how things were.
Yeah, it's part of the culture.
Yeah, John Boyle, Baker, David McFadden, all of them. They're all men, yeah. They were all for a very specific ethnicity too, you know.
Can't help it.
Nobody chooses that. Nobody chooses that. So yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll stop it there for now.